The Unforgiving Grave. In the summer of 1975, I was David, only 15 years old. I lived in a remote part of our village, surrounded by dense forests that cast long shadows over everything. Life in our village was simple, peaceful, and filled with the beauty of nature. Yet, peace never lasts forever. Small quarrels among the villagers were common. In our village, there were two brothers, Thomas and Samuel. They loved each other dearly, but they often argued over trivial matters. The villagers would hear about their fights, but never imagined that one day, these quarrels would turn into something horrifying, something that would change our lives forever. One evening, while everyone was finishing their daily chores and returning home, a sudden argument broke out between Thomas and Samuel. The reason for their anger was never clear. No one ever understood why such intense rage flared up. In a moment of fury and frustration, Thomas pushed Samuel off a high cliff. The villagers were stunned. No one could believe what had just happened. They quickly assumed it was an accident, yet fear and suspicion lingered in their eyes. In an instant, the peaceful life of our village had changed forever. That evening marked the beginning of a series of events that would leave an indelible mark on our lives. A quarrel that would never be forgotten, and the start of a strange and unforgiving nightmare. The news of Samuel's death spread throughout the village. The villagers were stunned and terrified. No one could believe that such an accident had truly occurred. In hushed whispers, people began to question, was it really an accident? Yet, no one had an answer. When it came time to bury him, a strange and terrifying experience awaited us. The ground seemed unusually hard. Every effort we made to dig into the soil failed. No one could penetrate the earth. Hours passed, and finally, Thomas stepped forward. Using his immense strength, he managed to dig the grave. But the fear did not end there. A growing sense of mystery and dread filled the villagers' minds. That night seemed to take on an even more sinister shape. The normal calm of the village seemed suspended, confined only to the place where we were preparing the grave. It was a night when death and the unknown revealed themselves together, cutting us off from normal life and surrounding us with fear and the presence of an invisible force. As we began to dig the grave, we realized that the earth was strangely hard. Every strike, every hand movement seemed to vanish into nothingness. Our efforts were failing. The villagers' fear grew with each passing moment. Some began to tremble, while others tried to steady themselves. After hours of relentless effort, Thomas finally stepped forward. Using his immense strength and determination, he started digging the grave. It was as if he was battling an invisible force. Every clump of soil seemed to resist him, trying to block his path. But Thomas did not stop. He knew he had to finish what he started. Time itself seemed to halt during the digging. In the darkness of the night, fear and mystery descended around us. We realized this was no ordinary grave digging. It was a strange and terrifying experience that tested both our courage and strength. The night after digging the grave, a strange and terrifying event occurred. When Thomas went to the garden to prepare the grave, a sudden and unnatural storm arose. The wind swirled violently, making a deafening noise, as if some invisible force was controlling it. The strange thing was, the storm was confined only to the garden. The rest of the village remained eerily calm. There was no wind anywhere else. Only that horrifying, isolated storm raged, leaving a mark of fear on our hearts. Birds fell silent. The trees stood strangely still, and the darkness of the night seemed to deepen even further. We realized that this storm was no ordinary wind. It felt as though it was revealing a mystery meant only for the grave. Fear continued to grow. It seemed as if the storm existed solely for the grave, as though death and the unknown were watching over us together. Finally, when it was time to lower Samuel's body into the grave, fear completely gripped us. Everyone stumbled, as if some invisible force was holding them back. Thomas stepped forward, determined to finish what he had started. But the body rose slightly on its own, as if an unseen power was holding it by the shoulders. No one could lower it. In an instant, Thomas himself disappeared, claimed by the very curse he had unleashed. The earth, the wind, and the grave seemed to conspire together. Everything combined to trap Thomas and Samuel. After that night, an eerie silence settled over the village. The garden remained forever shrouded in the shadow of that terrifying, isolated storm, which never struck anywhere else again. In this way, death, mystery, and the curse left an everlasting mark on our lives. The deaths of Thomas and Samuel marked the beginning of an everlasting terror for the village. Their story left a haunting impression on everyone's mind. No one dared to go near that garden again. Every night seemed to remind them of the cursed storm and the presence of an unseen force. Although the villagers gradually returned to their normal lives, the garden and the shadow of that terrifying storm remained permanently etched in their memories. No one knew when the mysterious curse might return. Thus, the village's simple peace was never the same again. The shadow of death, mystery, and fear combined to become a permanent part of the village's history. That garden, that storm, that curse, all became an eternal memory that no one could ever forget. The end. Did you enjoy the story? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Horror Dream. Want more stories like this? Subscribe to the Horror Dream, and we'll bring you more darkness just for you. If you enjoy a little chill down your spine, stick around. Like, share, and hit that subscribe button right here on the Horror Dream. Your support keeps us going, so stay with us. Subscribe to the Horror Dream for more spine-tingling tales.